Before we start, I would like you to hit that red subscribe button so that you never miss out on any of our videos. Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to Massive Phenomenon 5, The Mysterious Tomb 55. Quite possibly the most intriguing and mysterious aspect of Atenism is the discovery of the contents of what became known as the Tomb 55. What is particularly strange about it is that it reportedly originally bore the seal of Tutankhamun. This claim remains unverified. Tut, of course, was buried nearby and his tomb wasn't discovered until a number of years later. What is even more interesting about Tomb 55 is the notion that it was actually sealed to keep the mummy inside as opposed to keeping rogue thieves and robbers out. Given what we know of the beliefs of the time and curses and the vengeance of the gods, this is an interesting, if ominous, detail. Furthermore, the body of the mummy had been purposely desecrated as well as appearing and being displayed as female, despite the fact it was discovered to be male. Number 4. Statues of Sekhmet suddenly appear everywhere. During his reign, Amenhotep III erected 600 statues of Sekhmet at the Temple of Mut. He around 730 statues constructed in total. Why was this? What is perhaps interesting here is that this particular deity was associated with, among other things, disaster. This, according to some researchers, suggests that something very grave was taking place in ancient Egypt. Incidentally, according to ancient Egyptian mythology, Sekhmet, the daughter of Ra, had attempted to destroy the world and had to be kept at bay by Ra. This might be very important. Our final points, which we collectively owe to the research and investigative skills of author Graham Phillips, may just provide the missing answers to what is surely the most mysterious period in known ancient Egyptian history. Number 3. A coincidental cataclysmic disaster. In his book, Act of God, author, researcher, and investigator Graham Phillips argues that the reason for these statues, and indeed the apparent submission of the entire nation in the face of this drastic change, was down to the cataclysmic disaster striking the nation, specifically a huge and deadly volcanic eruption from Mount Thera, aka Santorini, the effects of which would have been more than felt in the lands of Egypt. Might this have been the reason for accepting such drastic change? Might the skies have darkened as a result of a massive volcanic explosion? Might this prove to be the reason why Akhenaten made the decision to worship Aten, the sun disk? What is also interesting here is that many of the apparent plagues which hit ancient Egypt, at least according to legends and biblical writings, could be satisfactorily explained as a consequence of such a natural disaster, including but certainly not limited to the darkening of the skies or the sun. As these plagues continued, and with the nation coming to the realization that worshipping Aten was not stopping such disasters, a quick conversion back to the old gods was seen as the only way to end the horror. In short, and given what we know of ancient Egyptian ideology, culture, and thought, there was an unintentional manipulation of a naturally occurring but cataclysmic event that not only ushered in Atenism but then ushered it out again. Our last points, though, are perhaps most spine-tingling of all. Number 2. The Hyksos and the Exodus. As an intriguing aside, to the equally intriguing affair is the presence of a mysterious group of people in the region, the Hyksos. This mysterious group, according to some researchers, were the early Hebrews of the Old Testament and in turn part of the apparent bloodline of Jesus. Indeed, some researchers even claim that Jesus may well have been by family ties and bloodlines a pharaoh in exile in Jerusalem by the time of his birth, whose wealthy family were very likely from the Heliopolis region. When coming of age, he was likely taught the same teachings as were taught in the mystery schools of the regions thousands of years before his own existence. Coming back to ancient Egypt, however, it would appear that the Hyksos were also part of the Exodus, which, while historically believed to be a myth, could well have taken place off the back of the outlawing of Atenism. Much of the Old Testament has obvious connections to ancient Egyptian writings, and while history, the Bible, and even the movies claim that the Exodus, led by Moses, took place during the reign of Ramses II, there is evidence to suggest much of which we have examined above, that is, in fact, took place a century previously, during the reign of Akhenaten. To understand this, we return once again to Graham Phillips. Number 1. Was Thutmose the real Moses? Indeed, Phillips notes that Crown Prince Thutmose should by rights have been the next in line for the throne following Amenhotep III. However, instead, Akhenaten takes charge, and Thutmose seemingly disappears from the picture. Most historians assume he died, when we know that an inscription on a wine jar for Akhenaten describes him as the true king's son. This now begins to sound like the Moses and Ramses II story. Now note that the word son in ancient Egyptian is Mos. The Greek version of this word, incidentally, is Moses. If we also believe then that Thutmose had to go into exile due to Akhenaten perhaps conspiring to kill him for his rightful place on the throne as the king's true son, and if we also accept that Thutmose had abandoned the Thut god part of his name, then the connections between Mos and Moses are strong. Might it be as speculative as this all is, that the three main Abrahamic religions of our contemporary age are directly connected to the religious ideology from the mystery schools of ancient Egypt, preserving in a bizarre way the thought process and spirituality of one of the greatest civilizations to ever grace the earth. This brings us to the end of our video. I hope you enjoyed it. Hit like if you did, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel so that you don't miss any of our videos in the future. Also, watch the 2 videos that are on your screen because I'm sure you love them. With that, I'll see you in the next video.